it's no secret, I am not a big podcast person. I rarely have the time to listen, and if I am listening, I could listen to an audiobook, like my TBL ain't going to fix itself. But sometimes a topic will grab my attention, or there'll be people involved that I want to hear more from. And so the Rosemoor Roundtable, which is hosted by Samantha Brentmore and Rose Diorio, who usually do a roundtable. They bring in guests and talk about the topic that they are doing that week, that month. And what they decided to do was do a deep dive into the romance audiobook community. And it's just them talking, just the two of them. And it's very neutral. It's stating facts and sharing a little bit of experience in those areas, and then very clearly labelled is in their opinions, if they have one on that. And so I took a deep dive myself last night. I did the 4 episodes that are available. I believe there's going to be 5. And honestly, it was a joy to listen to, because it was like listening in to 2 friends having a conversation about how the landscape has changed over the years. And what I think grabbed me about it, 1 was because it was like listening to a conversation, but 2, the people having the conversation don't really have an agenda of their own. It is just, let's look at it with everything that's happened this year especially, but I think as a whole, because things have been changing at a pretty rapid pace, and some people are being more involved in the community, some people are pulling back from the community, and it was nice to have that and have it be presented by people that you've never heard anything negative about, people that you've had conversations with and believe to be genuine. And it also isn't presented in a, this is what it should be, this is how it's going to be, and you better follow it or else. Like, it wasn't like that. And I think, I think we're all guilty of doing that at some point, especially if it's something we're passionate about. I mean, have you seen the videos I do about synonyms? Please, guilty as charged. But that's because I'm very passionate about it. But, we tend to shy away from those types of things. Like, no one wants to be told what they can do. So I think the way they do it, in just like sharing, like, this is what people are telling us, this is our experience, this is then playing a little devil's advocate in there. And I think it was such a really great format and way of doing it. I would definitely check it out if I was you. I think everybody can gain something from it, whether you've been in the community for a long time and talk about, some of the stuff, remember some of the stuff they talk about, like the creation of ACX, and when we used to use blogs or forums, and the whole shebang, and or newer, and have joined in the last 2 to 4 years, and or even less than that, and can be like, oh, so this wasn't like always this is how it was. And I mean, for me personally, I do think boundaries have been really blurred, especially as of late, but they bring up a great point. If person A's boundary is here and person B's boundary is here, whose boundary is the one that's being, because there's no general, I can't think of the word, acceptable boundary, I suppose, because if, you know, the B person is allowing sexting and graphic images and graphic conversations, that's okay for them. But if person A is not, because I have feelings, I'm not going to get into my personal feelings about that, but I will say I do think some boundaries have shifted because people have felt they've had to, not because they wanted to, and that is a concern for me. And I personally believe that you should err on the side of caution always, and that boundary should be for person A. And then if person B says, hey, I'm cool with this, then you can extend the boundary. But the common place should be up here. But that's just me. But definitely go check it out.